With a career spanning 4 decades, Jon Bon Jovi has undeniably left his mark on the music industry. Unfortunately, many of his contemporaries aren't too thrilled about that. Just a few years after Bon Jovi's emergence, rock music began to change dramatically. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw the emergence of the Seattle-based grunge movement, spearheaded by a new wave of bands such as Nirvana, Soundgarden, and Alice in Chains. This new style of rock not only changed the sound of contemporary music forever, but also completely revamped its image. Gone were the outrageous glam stage outfits and bouffant hair, and in came a more understated look inspired by the skate scene and punk counterculture. To grunge musicians, the arena rock peddled by bands such as Bon Jovi was the antithesis of what music should be about. In his collection of writing known as Journals, Nirvana frontman Kurt Cobain describes his own failed musical creations with the previous generation. He wrote, "The first song on the demo is no longer played. It is sickening and dumb. Destroy it, it is evil," in the likes of Whitesnake and Bon Jovi. Similarly, Nirvana drummer Dave Grohl spoke in disparaging terms in a 1993 interview with Louder about how Bon Jovi and his ilk were suddenly ditching the hairspray for more of a grunge look. He reflected, "We did a photo shoot with someone for the cover of a magazine, and he was telling us the story of how Bon Jovi came in with a flannel shirt on and said, 'Make me look like Nirvana.' If Bon Jovi wants to look like us, you know something is wrong." In response, Cobain cemented his own feelings about the Living on a Prayer singer by calling him desperate and untalented. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Kurt Cobain wasn't the only early 90s icon to pour scorn on Jon Bon Jovi and his band. Billy Corgan has been at the helm of alt-rockers The Smashing Pumpkins since 1988, and the group grew an enormous following in a few short years thanks to classic albums like 1991's Gish, 1993's Siamese Dream, and 1995's Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness. Considered the band's masterpiece and one of the classic American rock albums of the period, Melancholy has sustained the Smashing Pumpkins' reputation and maintained the band's audience into the 21st century. This is much to the band's benefit, as the Pumpkins have endured a checkered critical and commercial reception for their new music. In fairness, Corgan doesn't particularly care for continual acclaim. As he told the Daily Beast, "Somewhere along the way, I decided my interest was in that causal relationship between pushing the button and seeing what happens."
I define a song as having a distinctive voice that is unlike any voice of any other song I've ever written.
In the same Daily Beast conversation, Corgan went on to discuss his willingness to alienate his audience for the sake of finding interesting artistic directions. While illustrating the outcome he didn't want out of his music, he threw a familiar name around as an example of what not to do. He explained, "If it was about being formulaic in a Bon Jovi sense, you hire somebody who's a really smart producer, spend the money, out that one hit song, and you're back on top. But we don't come from that." Possibly the most high-profile feud Jon Bon Jovi has been involved in was with former President of the United States and reality TV star Donald Trump, who succeeded in turning a whole city against the arena rock star. In 2014, Bon Jovi joined a group of Canadian business people in attempting to buy the New York-based Buffalo Bills NFL team, but they weren't the only ones looking to make that purchase. Another one of the prospective buyers was Trump, having long harbored a dream of owning a football team. Trump is known to play dirty in both business and politics, and the Buffalo Bills saga was no different. Shortly after the Bon Jovi-backed buyers entered their bid, rumors spread that they were planning to uproot the team and move it to Canada. In response, Bills fans started a grassroots campaign against Bon Jovi, whose conglomerate lost the bid. Bon Jovi is still widely hated in Buffalo, and he told GQ he will never visit the city again. It later emerged that the rumors about moving the team had been planted under Trump's direction through a third party, a move which Bon Jovi later described as seriously scarring while speaking to The Guardian. In 2020, Bon Jovi released Blood in the Water, which took aim at Trump and his administration, and campaigned for Joe Biden's presidential bid. In response, Trump criticized Bon Jovi at rallies.
"Jon Bon Jovi, every time I see him, he kisses my ass. Oh, Mr. President."
He might not be a household name, but as a co-founder of Rolling Stone magazine, music journalist Jann Wenner certainly has influence in the music industry. Wenner was the outlet's editor back when it had such legendary writers as Hunter S. Thompson and Lester Bangs on its books. And he was an important figure when rock and roll was taken as a matter of life and death by both its writers and readers. Unsurprisingly, Wenner is a rock devotee and was instrumental in creating the prestigious Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and his dislike of Bon Jovi is well known. In Joe Hagan's 2017 biography, Sticky Fingers, The Life and Times of Jann Wenner and Rolling Stone magazine, Wenner is quoted as saying, "I don't think he's that important. What does Bon Jovi mean in the history of music? Nothing." And things got more personal amid speculation that Wenner, who for many years served on the board of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, was responsible for blocking the band's induction. Admission into the hall is one of the music industry's highest honors, and Jon Bon Jovi was adamant that he and his band were worthy to stand shoulder to shoulder with other rock legends. A feud between the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and Bon Jovi developed as a result, with the band only finally being inducted in 2018 toward the end of Wenner's tenure on the board.